We processed over 8.5 million backups across more than 60,000 WordPress sites. So when something goes wrong, a bad update, a compromised site, a host migration that corrupts the database, we see what holds up and what doesn't. In the next few minutes, you'll have a clear system for backing up WordPress sites the right way. Not just install a plugin and hope for the best, an actual strategy for what to back up, when, and how to verify it works before you ever need it. Hi, my name is Dorothy. I talk to WordPress professionals daily through WP Umbrella support, helping them solve maintenance issues across dozens of client sites. What I share comes straight from the field, not from plain theory. WordPress backups are made out of 5 components listed here. Most backup tools cover the main 2. Your files, WordPress core, your theme, every plugin you've installed, your uploads folder, and your WP config file, and your database, every post, every page, every product, every order, every user account, and every plugin setting stored in MySQL. Back up the files and miss the database. Your start design is there, but all of your content is gone. Back up the database and miss the files. You have the content structure, but nothing renders. No themes, no plugins, no images. In reality, all 5 components need to be captured together, close enough in time so they stay in sync. Any plugin or service that only captures some components isn't giving you a complete backup. But why is all of this important? PatchStack's 2026 WordPress security report documented 11,000 WordPress vulnerabilities disclosed just last year, a 42% increase year over year. 91% of them were plugins, the same ones running on your client sites right now. Here's what makes it dangerous. The median time from vulnerability being publicly disclosed to the first active exploitations is 5 hours. Patches typically follows days later. That window between disclosure and patching is exactly when most attacks happen. Backups are your recovery mechanism when the security layer doesn't close that gap in time. For an agency managing dozens of client sites, one compromised site is a billable emergency, but 10 at once is a crisis. Having proven to work backup strategy won't prevent the incident, but it controls how fast you recover and what the conversation with your client will look afterwards. And what should our backup strategy cover? Well, it covers how frequently you back up your sites, what rules you follow to avoid mistakes many of your colleagues are making, and finally, what tools you use to ensure the strategy is actually effective. So how often should you back up? The right frequency comes down to one question. How much does your site change between backups? A portfolio of sites that updates a few times a month and a WooCommerce store processing orders every hour have different requirements. For most business sites, content sites, and blogs, daily incremental backups cover almost every realistic scenario. For WooCommerce sites, membership platforms, or any site where database changes continuously, hourly is the minimum. Every hour without a backup is an hour of orders, subscriptions, and user data you cannot reconstruct if something goes wrong. Knowing that different sites have different needs, WP Umbrella lets you pick a schedule that works best for your specific site. Monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly. You set it up once and it keeps running automatically in the background. But there is one more thing that matters just as much as backup frequency, and that's the retention window. How long your backup is stored after creation. In some cases, more frequent backups don't make up for a short retention window. Keeping a backup for 7 days sounds reasonable. Until you consider that malware often sits still for weeks before it triggers. By the time something surfaces, a 7-day retention window has already gone past the clean restore point you need. 30 days? That is more sensible. But 50 days covers almost every realistic detection window, and it's exactly how long we keep backups safely at WP Umbrella. Now, let me highlight the top 3 mistakes an effective backup strategy will help you avoid. Mistake number 1. Relying entirely on your hosting provider's backups as your only layer. Hosting backups are convenient, and they're better than nothing. But restoring them usually requires opening a support ticket, and most critically, they're stored in the same environment as your live site. A server compromise or ransomware attack that takes out your production site also takes out the backups there. The solution is the 3-2-1 backup rule. 3 copies of your data stored on 2 different storage types with at least 1 copy off-site. For example, you have your live production site itself, 1 copy with your hosting provider, and 1 off-site copy with WP Umbrella stored safely under strict data protection rules. This way, no matter what happens, you always have 1 website copy to fall back to. Moving to mistake number 2. Treating untested backups as working backups. Backup files can be corrupted, incomplete, or missing database tables in ways that only surface the moment you try to restore them, which you know is the worst possible moment. The discipline is this: restore to a staging environment, walk through the homepage, admin key pages, and check out if there's WooCommerce. Document whether it's completed cleanly. And you should do it quarterly for most sites, monthly for WooCommerce and everything business critical. Yes, it is tedious work. That's why WP Umbrella does this check for you automatically. It runs daily integrity checks on database and folders to make sure backups are reliable and ready to be fully restored when you need them. And the third mistake some WordPress agencies make is running plugin updates without a current backup in place first. The most common reason agencies need a restore isn't a hack. It's a plugin update that breaks something. Running an update without a current backup is the WordPress equivalent of climbing without a rope. It works fine every time, until it doesn't. Seeing firsthand how important this is, especially for users managing hundreds of sites. WP Umbrella creates a pre-update backup snapshot before every single update. This way, even if a plugin update goes sideways, you can go back to the pre-update states in just 1 click and 0 downtime. This ability alone has saved our users many headaches, troubleshooting hours, and uncomfortable client conversations. Which leads me nicely to one of the most important decisions you'll make around your backup strategy, and that's what tools you will use to actually run it. In these sections, I'll give you my objective overview on how to make this decision, but first, here's why you should consider it. Backups are fundamental at WP Umbrella. Our tech team has been obsessing over the reliability of our backup technology for years. We've faced many challenges and learned valuable lessons. Today, after we experience all the ins and outs of backing up WordPress sites, we have a very clear overview of the market and can quickly spot which solutions have real quality infrastructure and which are just marketing fluff. Without pointing out brands, here are the 5 most important things to look for in a backup solution. First, are backup schedules easy to set up and run automatically without you having to run frequent checks? Most backup solutions cover this part, but if you manage a big portfolio of sites, you should make sure you enjoy the user experience your solution provides. Second, where does your data travel when backed up, and is it stored safely? This information matters, and it should never be hidden or ambiguous. WP Umbrella has been transparent on this since founding. Your data is encrypted and stored on our own service in the European Union under strict data protection regulations. Third, are your backups easy and fast to restore when you need them? Not after opening a support ticket, not after calling your hosting provider. Your backed up copy should be available with 1 click on a restore button. And finally, is the backup you're restoring full and functional? This is where most backup solutions fail. They can be free or cheap. They can be associated with well-known brands in the WordPress ecosystem. But if they don't deliver on the most critical part, restoring completely functional backups when you need them, what use is having everything else tracked? What's your experience? Do you test your backups from time to time? Share your experiences below. It's genuinely useful for us and for the people watching this video. If you leave only with 3 things from this video, I want you to remember these. 1. A real backup is files plus database. Both halves after together. 2. Match your schedule to your site type. Daily for most sites, hourly for WooCommerce and membership platforms, and keep retention for at least 30 days. And 3, test your restores. A backup you've never restored is a wish, not a backup. If you want a reliable backup solution that's built in your WordPress maintenance infrastructure, give WP Umbrella a try. There's a free trial you can start with no credit card required. Enjoy reliable encrypted backups, automatic save updates, professional client reporting, monitoring, security, and much more. And if you want to go deeper on the backups topic, I've added a complete backup guide for WordPress agencies in the description. It goes much deeper and much more technical than we can cover in this video, so go check it out and let me know if it's useful. We'll be sharing more of what we learned from managing over 60,000 WordPress sites. If you're running an agency or working as a freelancer, we'd love to connect and hear from you. See you in the next one.